Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. In this video, we're going to be asking and hopefully answering to the best of our abilities the question, has Bitcoin found its floor? Have we bottomed out for Bitcoin and are we going to recover from here? Guys, I have a number of very interesting things to share with you. Let me answer the question, and I could be absolutely wrong, guys. But let me answer the question right off the bat for those of you who can't, sit still and pay attention to something for a long period of time. I do indeed believe that we have. Now, I'm going to tell you why that is, in my opinion. I think we have support lines being drawn right now for Bitcoin. I think there are a number of things going on. We're going to talk about the short sort of term time frame. And we're going to talk about why it is mainly that I believe Bitcoin has indeed found its bottom. And that is essentially because I believe, and I follow something called the Elliott wave theory. It is just a theory and isn't, that's exactly what it is, a theory. But ultimately, we mapped out that Bitcoin was going to go to around about 160,000 plus by the end of this bull cycle. And how we got that was we mapped out something called the Elliott wave theory. And we said, look, Bitcoin is relatively following this Elliott wave theory. You can see within it, each one of its waves that it has smaller Elliott waves. And essentially the structure is very similar and set up in an Elliott wave-like manner. Ultimately, what I think you've just gone through for Bitcoin is an A, B, C correction. And we're going to draw that now. We're going to draw the smaller Elliott waves within that. And we're going to talk to you about what this means, and we're going to touch on a number of other sort of indicators to suggest that we may have bottomed for Bitcoin and we are going to start to recover. So, let's jump straight into it. Now, when we talk about an ABC correction, guys, you're talking about something like this taking place. That's essentially what an ABC correction looks like. And within that, you have your kind of your smaller waves. And essentially from the top, guys, I think that's exactly what Bitcoin has done, guys. I think you've just gone through an ABC correction. You have now bottomed out. You are, you do have a support line here. There's a number of things going on right now that have kind of led me to believe that Bitcoin's bottomed out. And we're going to talk about them. So essentially, not only have we had that ABC correction, and we're going to draw some smaller waves within those waves to kind of show you how well it's following it. But this structure here looks like a bottoming out structure to me. It doesn't look like your kind of rising and fading structure that you've seen previously. This looks like a bottoming out structure to me, ladies and gentlemen. And like I say, you do have a number of areas of support that I wouldn't like to see get broken. You are playing with this EMA right now, trying to stay above it. You're kind of toying with it. I think the sell pressure has largely been depleted. Now, the main reason, and we've said this for a long time now, that people are calling for sort of a bear market and a kind of premature bull market to be over, was because of the severity of this sell-off. I think if you take out the amount of people that got leveraged, liquidated on their leverage positions, it really puts into perspective everything, because people are saying, hang on, if we follow 2017's kind of structure, a sell-off of this magnitude is unorthodox. But what you didn't have in 2017, and I'm really trying to make this point very clear, is you didn't have 772,000 people getting liquidated on their leverage positions. This, in my opinion, was really a culling off of the kind of the leverage. It was a largely manipulative structure. Lots of people, and we're not going to stress it in this video, we're talking about the Wyckoff structure. Wyckoff structure essentially just shows you that the insider, the composite man, essentially is doing what they do and shaking people out of this market before then reaccumulating. And I do believe you are now going to see a reaccumulation phase take place. Lots of people calling for an inverse head and shoulders. I subscribe to that too. I think there is a lot of reasons why we are going to see Bitcoin recover from here, and the bottom could indeed be in. We could be absolutely wrong, guys. We could be, but I'm taking this bet personally. And, I ultimately have a lot of faith in where not only Bitcoin but blockchain technology is going. And it's that faith that I have that can give me the conviction to continue to not only dollar cost averaging but accumulate quite heavily on not only Bitcoin but a number of other projects. And we're accumulating more altcoins. I have to be honest with everyone. We're accumulating more altcoins now than we are Bitcoin. The reason we look at Bitcoin with such intensity is simply because the entire market follows Bitcoin. You can see on a shorter term time frame as well, you are actually making higher lows, and you are on a shorter term time frame, actually making higher highs right now. This could be short-lived, guys. You just don't know. You don't want to see, like here, we spoke to you about this textbook head and shoulders that played out. I mean, that's just one of the most textbook head and shoulders I've seen, to be quite honest with you guys. I mean, that was perfect, that head and shoulders, and it did play out. You could be setting up for a reversal head and shoulders right now. We'll see. There's a number of reasons why it looks to me like the sell pressure is depleting. Instead of this kind of rising wedge structure where you're sort of rising and you pop out to the downside that we saw just before our two sell-offs that we did keep you up to date with. This looks more like a bottoming structure to me, guys. And ultimately, it's my strong belief that we are going to recover from this. The bull market is going to continue. We've never had so much interest in the crypto space. Macro-wise, I'm a perma bull on blockchain. It's the new thing, ladies and gentlemen. We have, the SEC is now toying with the idea of allowing Bitcoin ETFs. We have loads of ETFs in other countries. An ETF is going to get approved. This is going to allow a lot of people to get into Bitcoin, a lot of sort of the traditional financial realm to get into Bitcoin. And this is all coming. How can you, not being bullish on a longer term time frame on blockchain technology is kind of like saying that the sun isn't going to come out tomorrow. It's evident to me, unless something catastrophic happens. That's how confident I am. This is not financial advice or my opinion. I could be wrong, but I am extremely confident in the fact that this isn't going away unless something catastrophic happens. Let's zoom out and take a look on the weekly time frame and really show you the trend for Bitcoin. This is the trend for Bitcoin, guys. Anybody who draws trend lines, anybody that looks at trends will tell you that this is a macro bull you are in right now, guys. We've spoken to you on a number of occasions about the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory and a number of other things. But ultimately, guys, I think that you have essentially just gone through an ABC correction. You can see that on the weekly. You can see that on every single chart. You are trying to get above. There is, and I can understand when people say we're bearish. Short term, perhaps, yeah. If you look at certain things that are going on, you're below your EMAs, you have this going on, you have that going on. But this is, these things can happen in a bull market. You can be short-term bearish and still in a bull market. We know that. And ultimately, right now, you're fighting with your EMAs. You're trying to get above them. We'll see what unfolds, ladies and gentlemen. But ultimately, I'm very, very bullish. I think the crypto space is still largely deciding what it wants to do. We are seeing a bit of a kind of indecisive day, if you will. But given what I've sort of spoke to you about and what I've kind of shown you, it looks to me like, you can see that the sell pressure is depleting. And you can see that with these lows. This low was lower than the one that we've just put in. And, I think this is going to essentially keep going until we see a kind of breakout. And I think that's on the cards, guys. Whether you capitulate for a period of time, which I do actually suspect you're going to do, and go in a kind of sideways manner before impulse into the upside. I don't think this is going to be just like a V-shaped recovery like everybody or lots of people are calling for, where you just go straight back up. I think that you're going to, it's going to take a little bit of building that confidence back up in the market before we then see, people re-enter their positions and continue. And ultimately, I have spoke to you on a number of occasions about how I do believe that this sell-off is very similar. And in fact, back in March 2020, we actually sold off by 66%, I believe, roughly. Yeah, around about 61%. And we recovered from that. It's we've seen this before for Bitcoin, and it's really just a test to or a credit to Bitcoin's strength. So that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. I just thought I'd get on here, I'd share what I'm seeing right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think ultimately we've just gone through an ABC correction. We are going to bottom out from here. Where that bottom is, let me just talk to you about timing the market, guys. Never a good idea. Nobody timed this top perfectly. Nobody is going to time this bottom perfectly. I'm happy to not be the first person in. I'm as long as I get in, that's really it, and that's where I'm at right now. We spoke to you in our Cardano video that we put out earlier about why we were buying and have been buying. We had buy orders set well below $1 throughout the entirety of this crash in Cardano. The reason I can accumulate with such confidence, like I say, is because I have that underlying belief in blockchain technology. I understand what's going on here, guys. We're moving towards a new world. a new financial system, and blockchain is really at the helm of that. And when we combine the fact that when we talk about institutions being here, I think this is what's largely going to continue this bull run. I think certainly retail is going to play in terms of FOMO and a number of other things. They're going to have a hand in this, but it's largely going to be institutions. And certainly in America, yes, that you do have certain institutions that are already involved in Bitcoin, but they're few and far between. It's a very small percentage of where the potential for hedge funds, family offices, big companies, adding it to their balance sheets could be. That is going to come, but you need proper regulatory clarity. You need avenues for them to actually get exposure to it without actually having direct exposure to it. And this is what this ETF and everything's all about. It is going to get approved. You have ETFs in loads of other countries, and this actually means, for those of you who don't understand how an ETF works, it's like a traditional kind of tool that people can get exposure to something without actually owning it themselves and custodying it and everything. So if, let's say, Apple wants to buy $3 billion worth of Bitcoin, they might go for an ETF, and that ETF then needs to actually purchase $3 billion worth of Bitcoin in order to provide that ETF. So that's how they work. This is going to increase the kind of buy pressure, in my opinion, and ultimately I think right now you have a bit of a battle going on. But given the fact that I do genuinely believe, and you can even see, if you look at how the smaller kind of waves work, where you 1, 2, 3, you can really see that it is following 1, 2, 3. It is following this structure exceptionally well, in my opinion, guys. So that's all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. I hope you found this useful. I do believe the bottom's in. I could be wrong. There is absolutely, we can be wrong. If we start to fail this support here, expect more downside. I don't think we're going to 25k. There is the possibility of that. I'm not sure how much I trust that insider, but we'll see what happens, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Thanks a lot for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. Your feedback is crucial to the growth of this channel. Let me know what you guys want to hear, because I'm always interested. I'm always up for new things. So far, we're bringing out our Cardano videos pretty much daily, except for last week where we had a bit of a manic week. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, hopefully, guys. So get subscribed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day.